Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us on today's webinar. I am super excited to have Jody Franklin here with us today to tell us all about this amazing functional medicine practice that she has built. That is one of the biggest questions that we get from you all, and I know 2020 is going to be the year for all of us to find that success in doing what we love and helping our patients live a better life. So welcome, Jody.
I am just delighted to be here. I really appreciate you having me on. And I started the functional medicine journey when I turned 50 because I had a terrible autoimmune disease I suffered with for 20 years. And when I finally overcame it and felt really good, I said, gee, I don't know, this is what I want to do. I want to help other people do this. I want to spread the good word about functional medicine because I can't believe what's possible. I suffered, literally could not sleep at night, had hives all over my body, itching awful all the time. And I went the traditional route, and there were some really good practitioners that were really well-meaning, but they just couldn't help me. They tried and they gave me lots of medications, but it didn't get to the root cause. So once I realized what was possible, I said, I want to do this. And so I got into it, which has been the best thing I've ever done professionally. It's so rewarding. So I'm happy to be here to answer any of your questions.
Yeah, that's amazing. So I know you and I were talking a little bit about some of the patients that you've seen and have some really amazing success stories that I'd love to share and learn more about, because they sound a lot like the patients that I would see in my pharmacy every day and just, wonder, gosh, how can I help these people get past all of these chronic conditions?
Yeah. And just to be clear with you guys, I am actually not a pharmacist. And when I turned 50, I said, well, I don't have any prerequisites to learn functional medicine. So I had to go to a health coaching / nutrition kind of school, which was kind of very basic and kind of laughable for me, but it was a necessary evil. As pharmacists, you guys actually qualify to go to the school that I went to directly. You don't have to do any previous training. And then you can start taking on clients, private clients to work with. And I'm going to explain more about that later. But I'll share with you a couple of the success stories that I've had, just so you guys get an idea of what is possible. But you can see under my clients tab here, you can see this is a case that I worked with recently of a man who had terrible pain from psoriatic arthritis. His wife wrote a beautiful testimonial. He could not even tie his shoes or work. He was in such pain he couldn't sleep at night. And he was on prednisone all the time, and knew that was going to be a problem long term. So within 5 months, we completely reversed everything. He no longer has any pain. He doesn't have any depression either, which is good. And his psoriasis is 95% clear. His pain is 100% gone.
That's amazing.
And he's able to work again. He's a woodworker, so you can see his hands are stained here. This woman here was on Vicodin every day for her pain. She was on antihistamines for her chronic urticaria. She had terrible migraines, horrible gastrointestinal issues, joint pain, extreme fatigue. She would be in bed every day by noon. Couldn't get out of bed the rest of the day with her fibromyalgia and Hashimoto's. And now, about a year later, she's lost 100 pounds. She is pain-free. Her migraines are gone. Her fibromyalgia is gone. Her gastrointestinal issues are gone. Her hives are gone. And she's like a new person. Her energy's through the roof. So she's off 6 of her medications as well. So you can see off the Vicodin for sure, which is a good thing. Yeah. You can see some of these success stories. There's a diabetes, gout, and the husband and wife team here, left and right. You can see they've lost a lot of weight too, but her pain's gone. I've got a interview here with a mom whose kid had such terrible asthma he couldn't play his sport anymore. If any of you want to check that out, my website is you could just go to jodyfranklin.com. I'll post it in the notes below. And this woman had really bad anxiety where she couldn't go to her school and she couldn't sleep in her dorm room. And after only a couple months, it's gone now. I work with a lot of anxiety. Here's one of my vitiligo cases. I actually work with a lot of clients who have that disease that Michael Jackson had, and you can see his skin repigmenting. And I've done this with a lot of people, actually. Some people think it's not even possible, but it really is. He has a type 2 diabetic, gastrointestinal issues, etc. But you get the idea. I won't go through all of them, but you can see there's a lot of really great success stories here. This insulin-dependent type 2 diabetic, gastrointestinal issues, asthma again. He has a diabetic who got her A1C down to 4.6. So you can see, you know, all these if you want to take a look. But it's just been the most rewarding thing I've ever done. And I want to encourage you all to get into this and look into it. And I know you were asking about the school. So did you have any specific questions about that?
Yeah. So, you know, after the question of, well, how do I start using functional medicine? Some people then also say, well, how do I even, get trained? Do I need to get a certification? Do I need to, spend all this money and all this time and travel to conferences and all of this stuff? And there's so many choices out there, which is amazing because there's something that's out there for everyone. But one goal that I had this year, for the Functional Medicine Pharmacist Alliance was to really help people figure out what it is that's going to lead them to success the fastest, and really give them things that they can use today, no matter what setting they practice in for pharmacy, whether they want to be consultants, branch out independently, whether they want to implement this in a health system that they work in. There's so many options. So I've got a couple people that have done the program that you were part of as well, that have really great practices too. So just wanted to learn more about it and see why it might be a good fit for our group.
Yeah, I'm happy to tell you all about it. Let me just show you first of all. I'll share my screen again. This is the school that I went to here. It's called the School of Applied Functional Medicine. And there are a lot of really great functional schools out there, but there's nothing out there that better teaches you how to use functional medicine in your practice. And we have a lot of pharmacists in the school. So far this semester, I think there's 9 signed up for the upcoming semester, which is wonderful. Probably a lot of them from your group. I know that my friend Anna is in your group and she's loving the school. I spoke to her, I got to meet her at the retreat they have every year. But anyway, if you go to the website, you can click on programs and Core 101 semester, or you can just click this Learn More button on the left. But I want to show you to get the certification. This is a board certification in functional medicine, by the way. But you basically take the first semester and then you go on to the second semester and you pass both exams. And then you need to turn in a case study demonstrating competence. And this is all reviewed by their medical review board or scientific review board. You can see there's some really impressive names on this board. Some of you may know Dr. Robin Berzin from Parsley Health or Dr. Frank Lippman. They're like on Dr. Oz all the time. And Dr. Jeffrey Glad's a big name. So these are people backing up the certification, which is amazing. And it's not an easy certification to get. It is intense, but it's totally doable. If I can do it without any of the science background that you guys have, you guys can definitely do it. Well, I'll go back to the home page and you just hit the, let's see, it's going to be a little laggy since I'm on Zoom. So give me just a minute to get out of here. But I'm going now to programs and then I'm going to hit down here, the Core 101 semester. Mm-hmm. And this is going to tell you more about it. I can just basically go through really quickly how this works. Yeah. But you're going to get, it's all online. These books are just kind of marketing stuff, but you're going to get the 5 foundational courses. And these courses basically give you all the foundations of functional medicine. You're going to learn how to break down diseases, not freak out that there's 55,000 classified diseases out there, but basically how to look at their symptoms and figure out how to get them results and how to break down what's really going on with them. You're going to learn mapping, which is a really critical part of my success is putting everything together on a piece of paper and figuring out what is going on with this unique individual, what interconnectedness I see, and this is how I really figure out the root cause of diseases. Nutrients and supplements. Tracy is the founder and lead educator of the School of Applied Functional Medicine. She names names. She names brand names, dosages, contraindications, everything, which I love. A lot of schools don't go into that kind of detail, but there's no one supplement company that works best for everything. So she really gets into the nitty gritty of which ones work best for which conditions. You get to learn all about lab work, from everyday annual physical lab work, what you can glean from that lab work. There's so much you can glean from it. You can sometimes figure out what's going on with someone just looking at that without ordering any fancy lab work. And then that you also learn functional lab work, which things like Dutch testing and stool testing and organic acids testing, NutriVals. What was that?
Things you didn't learn in pharmacy school.
The things you didn't learn in pharmacy school, and you won't learn it in medical school either, unfortunately. And I really think that you should, because this is how you really not just mask a disease, but in fact get to the root cause and put it into remission. And then you're going to get to customize your semester with deep dive clinical courses. So every student takes Disease Begins the Gut 101, and then you can choose from 2 more. And in the second semester, you get the cellular metabolism course, which isn't on here because this is the 101 we're looking at. And then you also get to choose 2 more. So you'll get 4 that you get to choose altogether. And then you can always purchase additional ones. So let's say you want to specialize in hormones. You could take the adrenal and thyroid class. You could take the hormones demystified. You could take the science of fertility, and maybe even the reversing metabolic dysfunction. That's how I learned how to reverse diabetes, because obviously insulin's a hormone as well. So you can take those courses. You can really customize your semester. This fibromyalgia is how I reverse that condition in my clients. It's a very advanced course, but anyway, you get the idea. And then this is what really distinguishes the school I went to from any other. There's puzzle piecing cases. So this is where you or one of your, I'm sorry, this is not, that's the multiple coaching calls. The puzzle piecing cases are where Tracy actually does a health history with an actual patient or client that she's working with. So you get to listen to her for about an hour with that patient or client and listen to them and just figure out what questions is she asking? How does she do an intake? What does she do? What does she ask? What forms does she use? And then you get to map it out and figure out what you would do. And then she does a 2-hour webinar after each case explaining what she did, what tests she ordered, what she saw, what she did, what she recommended, what happened. So you really, really learn through case studies how to get results for the clients that you're working with. You also get open coaching calls where you or one of your classmates presents a case study that you're working on that you may be having difficulty with, and Tracy will chime in and tell you how to help that person, and everybody gets to listen in and ask live questions. So you're going to get 6 of them just for the 101, so very beginner level, and then 11 of them are with the whole school. So you're going to get to listen to graduates and advanced students doing their case studies as well. So you're really jumping into the pool, and you're not going to be able to understand everything in these advanced calls, or some of you may if you've had functional training in the past, and you'll learn from those advanced cases as well. Then you get this clinical treasure chest. That is a search bar where you can type in whatever you're dealing with. Let's say you have a client that comes to you that has diverticulitis, and you're like, okay, what do I want to do from a functional perspective for that? You type it in the search bar, it will give you answers. And then if you can't find something in the clinical treasure chest, there's over 1,000 entries, so it's hard not to find something, but you can go on the Facebook page and find your answers there. She has about a dozen forum monitors that are answering questions. These are people that are all graduates of the school and really advanced practices, so they can answer your questions as well. So you always feel so prepared. There's even peer group huddles where you'll get in with your peers and talk about what are you doing for your practice. You'll be in with a graduate. I'm hoping that there will be a pharmacy peer group huddle coming up, and maybe in the future. I don't know if they're doing it this semester or not, but there's enough pharmacists in the school where we could just form a group for them. Yeah. And then certification prep. But you get the idea. And then I just want to tell you the pricing too, just so you guys know. If you're watching this on a replay 6 months from now, the pricing may have gone up. So this is just what it is right now. But you get, it's only, this is incredible, $597 per month for 6 months. And I know I have friends who have done other programs and spent $25,000 or $15,000 on their training. If you pay in full, it's only $29.94 per semester. And by the way, registration ends, I know this is quick, but January 6th. So if you're thinking about doing this, I would definitely recommend that you do it as soon as you can. January 6th is the deadline. So, you know, and then the classes start January 20th. There's a live kickoff meeting. If you can't make it to the classes, they're all recorded, so you can watch the replay. So you never feel like you're missing out on anything. The huddle groups are great. They help support your business. There's a Practice Pearls webinar that you get when you sign up, which tells you how Tracy built her practice the first year. So I got some great tips from there, learning how to build my practice. You also get early access to the database. So if you sign up now, you'll get access for the next couple weeks to the database early, so you can start learning right away. But it's really been the best thing I've ever done professionally, like I said. The school is so thorough. I have friends, like I said, that have done the extensive training elsewhere. They've spent a lot of money doing every module of some of the other schools, and they have told me that SAFM blows away the other schools. So I feel good that that's the one I picked. I kind of fell into it and didn't really know too much about the others. I couldn't go to some of the others because they wouldn't let, with my credentials, go to them. SAFM is about 50 or 60% medical. You'll be in with a lot of MDs and NPs, and like I said, some pharmacists, chiropractors, different modalities. And then the other half are more nutrition professionals and entrepreneurs like me trying to get in there and make a living doing this. So I know you had some questions specifically about how I got started, but did you have, and anybody who wants to type in questions below, I can answer as well. So fire away.
So I think the way the program is structured is really unique as well. Like there's so many things in there that, you know, I went and did a master's program in nutrition and functional medicine. And for me, that was something that I specifically wanted to do and helped me in other parts of my career that are very unique. But there's definitely things that, you know, like we didn't really talk about lab work. And now if I have patients that, you know, want to talk to me or other pharmacists that are asking questions about that kind of stuff, it's like, well, I didn't quite get that. And it's really fundamental and probably something that I think, you know, is something we question a lot as pharmacists, is being able to look at that and interpret it and help patients with that information. So just right off the bat, you can see there's a lot of really unique components to it. And I think kind of the timeline of the program makes sense. You know, it sounds very flexible. Especially if you're already working full time, you might worry about how do I take time off work to, you know, do training or all of those things. So just a really great program. And like you said, too, it ends on January 6th for the registration period right now. You know, so that was why I really wanted to have this webinar now, was to give people that chance if they've been, you know, kind of sitting on this opportunity and thinking about it and kind of really just not sure which direction they wanted to go. Maybe this is the right, you know, timing for you to take this opportunity and jump right in at the beginning of the year. So
yeah, absolutely. And I will just say that as a pharmacist, you guys could start using this, even if you're in a practice in a store somewhere, and you're advising people, you can start implementing it into your practice. My business partner does this. She's actually works 30 hours a week in a traditional medical setting, and she sits down and advises people and tells them about the functional medicine approach to what they're doing. And she is killing it. Her patient ratings are the highest in her company, which everybody's wondering, what is she doing in there in that office when she shuts that door? But it's fantastic. And then the other thing is you could take on private clients. So that's what I did. And this is a way that you can have a lucrative functional medicine practice as a pharmacist. I can post some books in the comments below on some of the couple business books that that will help you kind of to build an online practice. I actually work online with my clients. I have clients all over the country that come to me all via referral because I've had such success with just my first few clients, and they start telling people about me. I even have some international clients. I got a call the other day from Saudi Arabia, and I'm like, how did you hear about me? She's like, oh, somebody sent me your link about this, and you had helped a kid with ADD, and I want you to help my kid. And I'm like, okay, we can do that. So I have a, so I do things through a video conference like we're doing now.
Yep.
So you'll be able to see, see me and talk to me, but you can work one-on-one with people. There's really no limit to the way you can do things, but really the important thing is that you get started, and you're encouraged to really jump into the pool of functional medicine. So you could even do like a Facebook post and say, or email to all your friends if you don't use, well, you're obviously using Facebook because you're in this group, but just mention that you're going to be starting a functional medicine school this month, and that you are looking for 3 or 5 private clients to work with, and you're wondering who's suffering with X, Y, or Z, hormone issues, whatever you want to specialize in. Maybe if you pick the deep dive clinical course for migraines, you could say, if you suffer from migraines, let me know, I can help. And I know you're thinking, oh, I can't help you yet because I don't know. But once you're going to get all your class materials on January 20th, and you can jump ahead. The other thing that you can do right away is you can, you can go ahead and put in that you have, or let's say that you have someone who has migraines. You can look in the search bar, and it will say, you could type in migraines, and it'll give you all these solutions. So you could start using that database right away to help that person. And so, sometimes I'll do that. Even I haven't heard of a condition before. I had someone the other day that had lichen sclerosis. I'm like, oh, I haven't worked with that before. I typed it in. Sure enough, it told me what to do. She came back to me 3 weeks later. She says, my lichen sclerosis is gone. I said, wow, that was really easy. So you can start using that right away. I see we have a couple people on with us now. Did you guys have any questions? I know you haven't been listening yet because you jumped on late, but did you have anything specifically you wanted to ask about?
Well, what were you just talking about? What resource was that?
So I actually graduated the School of Applied Functional Medicine, and when we get off, you can go look at the replay on this. Lauren will post it, and you can hear all about it. But it really helped me build a full functional medicine practice. I have a wait list now to work with me. I have people all over the country trying to get in with me now. I actually had to hire people to take some of my client load. I have a physician from Russia working with me that's doing what I'm doing now in this country. She's a graduate of the school, but it's hard to find graduates of SAFM, that's where I went to school, that don't already have a full practice. It's unbelievable. The success stories. Actually, I just saw a post on the forum. Someone else said, I have a full practice now. What do you guys do with your wait list? What do you suggest I do with the wait list? So you can, as a pharmacist, though, take on private clients and start working with them. And I started in the beginning charging very little for my services. I definitely underpriced myself in the beginning, but I was kind of like, I don't really know much yet, so I just want to get clients to work with. So I started out charging. I did a free assessment, which I would never do now because it takes a long time to go through. You're going to get the paperwork. In the school, they give you the intake forms that you can use. They teach you how to map them. They teach you basically soup to nuts what to do with each client. So before I even meet with somebody, I get their last 2 years of lab work, and I map them out, and I take their symptoms questionnaire, which the school provides, and the intake form, which the school provides. So I just use their forms. They're on my website if you guys want to check them out under forms. But they fill out the forms. I go ahead and map them out, figure out what's going on with them, and then I meet with them. And when I meet with them, after they're done meeting with me, they are practically begging to work with me because no one's ever explained to them what's going on with their body before. So I have them, I take that, and then I used to do a free one. I'm now charging $550 just for the assessment. So it can be lucrative. I know pharmacists make very good money. I'm probably making about 2 or 3 times what the average pharmacist makes right now, which really blows my mind because I don't have the science training, the any of the biochemistry or anything that you guys have had. So you guys can even take it beyond that. And then I meet people twice a month. This is how I structure it. Each session then is about 55 minutes. The first one is usually about 90 minutes. And then I do about 55-minute sessions after that, and we go twice a month. And I usually start with a 3-month commitment, and then they can go as long as they need. Some people need much longer than that. And I used to charge only $125 a month, which I think is a little cheap. You guys could definitely charge more. But even by the end of my first semester, I had already doubled that rate. And I'm now charging $597 a month. So it's about $300 a session for my clients. And instead of, the average medical practitioner will take 30 people a day, I don't take that many. I'm a teaching assistant at the School of Applied Functional Medicine too, so that takes some of my time. But you could take 2 or 3 clients a day and make a really good income doing this. You could take 4 or 5 or 6. Some people take 5 or 6, and that's a lot. It takes a lot of energy to do that, but it's all doable. So anyway, did you guys have any more questions?
I guess my main reason for tuning in is I'm just trying to grow my business this year. So last year was all about getting my business set up, and I'm a pharmacist and I'm also a health coach.
Oh, good.
And my specialty is Lyme disease. So my company is all about helping people with Lyme disease. So I'm just kind of looking for ideas on how to grow this year. Just looking for exposure, speaking engagements, things like that, just to kind of get my name out there.
Absolutely. And the Practice Pearls webinar, if you decide to do the school that I went to, when you watch the replay, as soon as you sign up, you get instant access to that. And that is a 2-hour webinar on how Tracy built her business the first year. And so she talks a lot about speaking engagements. That's how she did it, and all kinds of ideas on how to get speaking engagements. She got a ton of them, and she built her practice that way. And actually, she built it pretty quickly. So that's a great way to get clients. Personally, I didn't do any speaking engagements. I actually just use social media, and just everyone I talked to. I mean, I was just at 3 New Year's parties between, like, an open house yesterday. And people ask you, what do you do for a living? And I always say, well, I help people put diseases into remission without using drugs. And they're like, what? That's my elevator pitch. But it works really well. People are just like, they pull me aside, like, can you help me with this? And then I have all these people that want to meet with me now. But first I put on my Facebook page that I'm doing a functional medicine program. I'm looking to add, 3 new clients to, and I'm charging half price. I gave them it seemed like a discount. It sounds kind of cheesy, but it actually worked really well. I had a second cousin that had all these gastrointestinal issues contact me and just say, hey, I need help. And actually she came to me for weight loss, but we uncovered all these other issues that she had, and were able to put every single one of them into remission. And then she told so many people about me. I mean, it's like everybody that you work with is like a walking billboard for you, and they wind up telling people about you, and it just spirals. And that's what's happened with me. And it's just so funny that 5 years ago I wasn't doing any of this, and now I've got a full practice with a wait list. And not everyone has this level of success, but I would say that the school I went to, SAFM, the graduates, there are so many super successful ones, and a lot of them, like me now, that are hiring other people. They only hire the SAFM grads, and they take their practice, so they'll do the intake and then pass them off to another practitioner who will then do the monthly meetings. But it's hard because these people, when I hire them, they want a good pay. So I have to pay them like $200 a session. I'm only charging $300 a session. So between taking the taxes out and all that, it's like, there's not that much. So I either need to raise my rates, or I don't know, I have to figure out a way to scale it. Maybe do groups. That's one of my goals for this year. But it's hard to do groups with functional medicine because each person is so unique in what they're presenting with. But if you're doing Lyme disease, I'm sure there are a lot of commonalities. I know there are, that you could work with, and maybe doing some group sessions. And then when you're doing the testing, one good tip is to, I usually with Lyme will do an organic acids test and maybe a stool test, depending on what's going on with them. And you could do that as a one-on-one session, and then do the groups with the basic nutrition, supplements, all these things, and then do one-off sessions with some of the people, because you really want to get to figure out what's going on with their immune system and how to balance that out and figure out, how to put that into remission, or at least get rid of the symptoms. So, yeah. But anyway, that's, I don't know if that was all we wanted to talk about today, but if you guys have any questions, I'm happy to reach out. I'm happy to speak to any of you individually if you have more questions, if you want to set up a talk. Like I said, I'm a teaching assistant. I'm happy to share any information. And what the teaching assistants do, by the way, is that's another benefit to being part of this school, is you can set up a one-on-one with me, and for 50 minutes, which, what I charge my clients, it's only $130 to go through the school to do this. So if you have a patient or client case that you're struggling with and you're saying, I'm really not sure what to do with this, you can meet with me one-on-one, and I will go through it. We'll look at the labs together. I'll tell you what I think is going on. I'll tell you what steps I think should be taken next. So, and you can do that with this naturopathic doctor on the teaching assistants, is all different training. There's a real hormone expert on there too. And then the other thing that you can do is you can ask me questions about my business. So I have some people get on as teaching assistant, meet with me as a teaching assistant for an hour, pick my brain about business strategies. So it's not what I really thought I'd be doing, but just because I was in your shoes just a few years ago, I mean, it sounds like you've had, you get your business up and running, but I was really, if you had told me what I'd be charging now and what I'd be doing in terms of volume with my clients and the results I'd be getting, I never would have believed you 5 years ago. I mean, it's like a dream. It really is. So, and I heard some people are charging this much for their services, and I didn't even believe it. I just said I could never charge that much. I could never do this. And it's just, the demand is so high, and really the level of training that I've had, it is intense, and it's deep and rich, and it's really good training. And there's really nothing out there that better teaches you how to apply functional medicine to your practice than the SAFM that I went to. There's just nothing that even comes close. And I have friends who are MDs and NPs and different modalities who have done extensive other training, and everybody says the same thing. So, and it's much cheaper than all the rest, like a fraction of the cost. So I can't say enough good about it. I know I sound like an infomercial, but it's really, you guys won't regret it. If you sign up now and you do a week of classes, and for any reason it's not what you expected, not what you want, you have access to everything January 20th. You get a whole week to evaluate it, and you don't like it for any reason, you get a full refund minus a $75 admin fee. So there's really no risk to starting. People ask me how much time it takes to do the training. It takes about 8 to 10 hours a week if you're going to finish the semester in 7.5 months. So, so you can budget that in your schedule, the study blocks. And then if you don't have that kind of time, you can stretch the semester out over 10.5 or even 11.5 months. And so you only need about 4 or 5 hours a week, which is, really fantastic. It doesn't take a lot of time. So, I mean, the lectures come in several formats. There's a video format with a PowerPoint, but there's also audio, so you can listen to in your car or on a walk or whatever. So I listen to each lecture twice, which is budgeted into that time. So the first time I'll do it in front of my computer taking notes. The second time I'll do it on a walk if I want, and then it also comes in written format. So there's transcripts if you're one of those people who likes to read and take highlighted notes and things like that. You can do it that way. It's electronic transcript, which is great so that you can search keywords when you're going back and wanting to find things. Just really designed for different teaching styles. So that's really great. But anyway, any other questions, or are we, whatever you guys?
Yeah, I don't think I really have any other questions.
Okay. Well, I wish you lots of success with it. There's a huge Lyme market out there for sure.
Yeah, there is a lot of people that need help.
I'm in Massachusetts. Massachusetts. So man, there's I go to some of the local functional meetings, and there's just people that just specialize in Lyme. There's so, I mean, you can certainly make a really good living doing that. So good luck with that. But Lauren, thank you so much for having me on. I really enjoyed this, and I wish you guys lots of success in the new year. And I hope you all, maybe I'll see you all at the retreat. Anyone watching, every fall there's a retreat and we all get together, and that's where I met Anna and some of the other pharmacists. So anyway,
That's
all
awesome.
right, you guys, well, take care. I'm gonna stop the recording.
All right, well, thank you.